It's time to put on a bunch of green and don't get pinched. And St. Patrick's Day, because that's today.
I was like, what are you talking about? And then I realized exactly what you're talking about.
And that's the only thing we're going to mention about that on this week's episode.
Last week I had mentioned that I wanted to celebrate the fact that I am like 50% Irish. I think I'm a little bit over that, but regardless, celebrate me today.
Yay! Let's celebrate now.
Yay! As a side note, I had somebody ask me the other day the origin of McDivitt, and I was like, it's the first time anybody's ever asked me like where McDivitt came from, because I thought it was very blatantly obvious where McDivitt was from.
Russia.
Clearly Russian. And I was like, it's Irish.
Well, that's our Irish speak for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because our topic for this week is nothing to do with that whatsoever.
It's like the polar opposite of Irish.
Hello, welcome to another rousing edition of the Season Lamb Checkup OVA. This is episode 66. I'm Jared. That is our celebrated Irish half friend, Anne Ladyem.
Hello.
And this is the podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, manga. And today we got a big old video game to talk to you about.
Yes, we do.
Someone's excited.
Dude, I'm so stoked to talk about this game.
Before we get into it, and I think this is going to set the stage for our discussion as a whole, the game we're talking about is a 2017 release.
Yes.
And also, we're talking about Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, because that's the version we played. There's also the Vita version, which is just regular Tokyo Xanadu.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, this is a 2017 release. If you had the opportunity to go back and re-edit your Game of the Year list, where do you think this game would end up?
2.
That's exactly where I would probably put it as well.
I would put it at number 2, easy.
I was having this thought process last night. I was like, where exactly would I put it? And it was like, it's basically top 2.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can't beat Breath of the Wild, but this beat everything else. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, it is a good game.
Which I think will kind of really push forward like the narrative that we're going to have, where it's like, this was definitely, I think, a sleeper hit. Specifically just because like the PS4 version came out in December, where it's like, you know, not a lot of people are going to talk about it, and not a lot of people are going to probably either play it or even like know it's out because it's a December release, and there were other things in December that, you know, were occupying our time specifically. So it's like kind of left to the wayside. And the Vita version came out in June, but with the way they were releasing it and like having the Vita version come out earlier in the year and then putting the PS4 version, which has a little bit extra stuff in it, later in the year, for me personally, it was like, well, I could get this Vita version now, but the better version's coming a little bit later down the road. So like, why not wait?
Yeah.
Because that seems like the better option, per se. But yeah, it's a good video game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a solid video game that holy crap. We beat it today, and I'm still just like mind blown on how good this game is.
And also, like, I think just in general, because I feel recently we've kind of been burnt on some other Japanese RPGs that, like, I'm just relieved that, like, it's good.
Yeah, same. Like, I remember that you told me about it, and I ordered it, and you're like, I'm really sorry if it turns out to be bad. And it did not turn out to be bad.
Because, like, I've known about this game for a while. Like, it came out originally on the Vita in September of 2015.
Yep.
And then the PS4 version the following year in 2016. So, like, I basically knew about it from, like, probably about 2015 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because someone I followed on Twitter or on Tumblr, excuse me, talked about the game kind of like here and there, and I was like, that seems interesting. I should probably keep an eye on that. And then, you know, it took a little bit for it to get localized and everything, but eventually it did. And it's just like, I didn't get it right away just because, you know, $60 release and in the middle of December, so it wasn't like, it was something I wanted to get, but it's like not really feasible at the moment. But finally,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
well, and even if I had bought it in December, I would have been able to play it because my PS4 was here.
Yeah, and obviously you were in Xenoblade 2 mode, so nothing was
Oh,
going to come and top that.
That's true. I actually, the funny thing is, I'm in Xenoblade New Game Plus right now, and which, by the way, guys, I've topped 200 hours in that.
No one's surprised about.
Yeah, no, but I stopped playing Xenoblade to play this, and I have not picked up Xenoblade at all since I started this.
But yeah, like I finally got a hold of it because it went down in price just like a good bit, to where I was like, yeah, I can. This seems justifiable, and I told you about it, and that kind of like set everything in motion. And I think the key component of like why this was interesting to me, at least, was that like it was described as like, oh, it's essentially Persona, but not by the Persona team.
Yeah, and that's what you told me.
Yeah. Which, granted, like that's a pretty spot on description if you wanted to like kind of break it down to like the bare minimum. It's basically that. It's a JRPG with social sim elements. Like obviously it's not like the same per se, but you know, there are similar qualities between the two series.
Correct.
And also just the weird thing about this game is like, you know, it basically has its roots in the Xanadu series from like the original game that came out in the mid 80s on, you know, Japanese PCs and the MSX. It has lineage to Xanadu, the weird NES game, and then like the other few Xanadu games that came out in like the 90s and in the 2000s. But this is, I think, a little bit different than like all of those because it's like, you know, modern Tokyo and all that jazz. But like I said, I'm just so relieved that it was good and wasn't another JRPG where it's like filled with creepy shit and gross shit and just like good. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, I was legitimately shocked how freaking good it is. And especially because both of us came out of 2017 feeling like pretty down on Persona 5.
Yeah.
And that kind of hurt because like I love Persona and I wanted Persona 5 to be super duper good. And it just didn't do it for me. And then like after playing this, I'm like, okay, this did it for me. This is what Persona 5 should have been.
I mean, if I want to, let's do this. I'm going to ask you a hard question, and I'm honestly, I don't know the answer to this either, per se.
Okay.
It might be a bit. If this was a Persona game, where would you rank it?
Honestly, I would put it like right up there with 3 for me. And as people know, like 3 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'd put it above 4.
I think for me, it would be up there with like 3, 4, and 2 Eternal Punishment, which I think that's the upper echelon of the series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is not the place where we're going to like, oh, we're going to slot it in here because of this, and this. Like, I don't know the answer to that, but like, it's real good. And like, there are parts of it where I think like, I mean, for me, Persona 4 is my favorite. There are parts of this game where I think it blows Persona 4 away.
Yeah. And I mean, we make a lot of comparisons because I know you have figured this out, but other people have probably figured this out by now too. I'm really bad at remembering characters' names, so I give them nicknames.
And we did this for this game very much so.
Yeah, so and a lot of the characters ended up getting like Persona nicknames. Like there's not Kanji and not Rize in there.
Not Yosuke.
Not Yosuke. Which not Yosuke was like the most accurate one.
Oh yeah, but even then, like a way better character than Yosuke could ever be.
Oh yeah, like, and that's coming from somebody who actually likes Yosuke, which is rare. But like, this dude was a way better Yosuke than Yosuke could ever hope to be. But it's just, I mean, it's bizarre how it does so many things that I'm like, wow, you did this way better than Persona ever could have hoped to do. And I mean, it's shocking because I had no idea that this game existed, and now I played it, and my entire world is wrecked.
I think like the key for this game is that like the writing is just excellent, and like it feels, just the dialogue between characters feels real in a way that like I think some games still kind of struggle with.
Yeah.
Where it feels like these are characters that, you know, they're like legitimate friends. They riff on each other like friends do. They talk like, you know, teenagers do.
And they also have very distinct dialogue patterns that
right.
A lot of times scripts lack. But I mean, if you were to put me in a group of like in a room with my friends, say that I have a group of friends. I mean, I have my trivia team, so we'll say them. I put them in a room. None of us talk the same.
Yeah.
We each have our own little quirks and things that we say often, and like sometimes we'll pick up stuff that other people say, but like we have distinct speaking patterns. I forget my mic's on the left now. And they put that into the script. Like nobody talks the same, but they all talk like they're high schoolers, and they have like really so I want to know if I say this on the podcast, are you gonna have to edit it? But like the main character's big catchphrase when things go wrong is "fuckle ducks."
I mean, they put that in a teen-rated game, and it's technically not a curse word, so we could put it in here.
FUCKLE ducks,
which is their way of saying.
Yeah, but it's funny because he continuously uses this like if something's really really going poorly. Yeah. And then eventually one other character picks it up as like a verbal thing. You're like, yeah. Oh, okay, nice. But and also like the main character says some things that like people call him out for being a nerd on. Like he says things like, wow, that's a dorky thing to say.
Like they all kind of call each other out on stuff, and it feels genuine. Like, yeah, this is what friends are going to do.
I mean, me and you do that to each other.
Yeah. And I think like the surprising thing is like the Persona games, you know, they have like this eclectic cast where it's like here's this group of people who come together, and you know by the end of it they're all friends and stuff. But I think sometimes it kind of misses the mark on that, where it's like they're friends by circumstance and like they have this camaraderie together. But I think for me, like it's specifically like the Persona 4 cast, like they don't really feel like super good friends until like Dancing All Night, which is like the latest game in the timeline. And if that's like when they actually feel like, oh, these are legitimately good friends.
Yeah.
Like by the end of Persona 4, like they're getting there, but it's not there. It's not necessarily that. P3 has this problem. P5 has this problem. But for some reason, I think like this game really like makes it seem like genuine. Like these are legitimate, genuine friends. And I think it also helps that like you are coming into this as like you're not like the transfer student and you have to learn all these people. Like the main character whose name's Ko, like he has his own set of friends he already has like at the very beginning, at the offset of this game. And then like everyone else kind of comes in and like they basically kind of all join up in this in the same group, and that really really helps like the dynamic and all that.
But even then, like Ko knows of some of the characters that come into the party. Like he knows of them already. Yeah. Like it's not like they just appear out of nowhere. He's like, oh, I know this person. Like we went to this school and I know this person because of this. And like he's vaguely aware of people who aren't even in his immediate social circle.
Yeah.
Which seems, I mean, like my high school was massive, but in a high school the size of like what they're portraying, that makes sense.
Because it's only like 3 classes per year, essentially, I think is the breakdown, 3 or 4. Yeah. So it's like it's not necessarily a huge school.
Yeah, and I mean, like you would see people and you would run in circles and that kind, not run in circles, but run in the same circles, that kind of thing. Like you would be vaguely aware of other people, and he is, and he demonstrates that throughout. He's like, oh, this person, I know them because of this person.
And I mean, like the Persona games in general, just like the way they kind of put their protagonists is like they're transferring in or whatever. Like, it kind of pigeonholes them into a way where, like, they can't necessarily get that same camaraderie. I don't know why I keep struggling with that word right away. And, like, it takes them a long time to get that. And that makes it a little bit different. But, like I said, with this, it just seemed like, I don't know, the writing just made it seem so good. And I think, like, the difference is that this game has such an eclectic cast. Like, even just, like, the main characters, there's, like, what, like, 10 of them? At least?
Yeah.
They all seem different. They all have, like, their own styles and, like, speaking, like, the way, like, they interact with the other characters in a way that, like, you know, the Persona games don't necessarily have because they're a little bit smaller, tight-knit groups. And even just, like, the minor characters or, like, the side characters you run into, like, there are so many other people in this game that you will bump into and, like, you will understand and know their story in ways that Persona games would not allow you to know other character stories. Unless
and you get,
they were
like, really
the
attached
social
to
link.
some of them.
Yeah. Like, unless, like, they were, like, a social link or something. And even then, like, they don't necessarily go that deep into, like, stories per se, or at least let you be attached to them in ways that this game does, even with, like, less storytelling.
I think one thing that I do want to mention while we're talking about this is that Protag has, like, a very distinct personality.
Yeah.
Like, he's not, like, an insert character like a lot of the Persona ones are. And, I mean, it could be argued that, like, and I agree with this, 3, 4, and 5 Protags in Persona are very, very different people.
Yes.
But they're also still supposed to be, like, an insert. You play them as they are, kind of like...
They're the player character.
Yeah. This guy, you go in and you're playing as him, and he's already set in who he is. So you kind of have to work within, like, his mindset already.
Which, like, obviously, you know, JRPGs will flip-flop between, like, oh, you can have choice in the matter, or it's like, this is a preset character and you're just going along with their story. And I think, like, if this game had your preset character where it's like, oh, you're making choices here and there and doing all that sort of stuff, like a Persona protagonist from 3 onward is, I don't think it would work as well.
Mm.
Because, no, like, I was gonna say, like, because, like, his personality really complements and, like, goes against, like, the other characters in a way that if it was just kind of more of a quote unquote blank personality, which is kind of what they are, but they have their own quirks and everything, like, you just wouldn't get the same, like, good interactions that you get in this game.
Well, and I mean, some of the, like, personality traits of Protag in this, like, they're known by other characters, and so they're brought up pretty regularly of, like, oh, hey, you're kind of a weird workaholic. What is going on with that? Why do you do that? And people, like, are constantly talking to him like, hey, you know, you spend a lot of time doing this kind of stuff. And it would be weird if it was, like, a self-insert kind of character.
Yeah.
And he has, like, a very distinct reason on doing the things that he does. So, I mean, I really like Protag, which you were joking that Protag is me. So
it's true. It's honestly true.
I know it is. I know it is. Like, there were a few times that I was playing it, I was like, oh God, that's me. And I texted you all those times. It's like, oh God, Protag is me. Maybe that's why I like him so much.
That's probably it.
He's a freaking weirdo.
I think another reason, like, I think the writing is so good is that it plays into one of Persona 2 Eternal Punishment's strengths, and that is, like, the writing is very much, like, just dripping with empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you know, as someone who studies literature, like, if you're gonna come at that angle, I'm gonna, like, eat it up hook, line, and sinker, because, you know, some game writing is just, like, not gonna have that at all. It's just, like, kind of be bare bones about it. But, like, this, like, these are characters that care about each other, care about other people in ways that, you know, some other games don't necessarily have. And even just, like, the ways they kind of, like, bait and switch you with, like, certain characters and, like, make you think, like, oh, these are going to be some shady folks, but by the end of it, you legitimately care about them.
Yeah.
And just, like, it does it so well.
It's really amazing. And another thing that I want to mention is that, like, there are characters of all ages in this, whether they're, like, in your party or just around town, because there's different categories. There's like supporters, and then people in the town, and
Like
friends.
classmates and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like they're all different ages, and they're all really well written, and they are appropriate for their age.
Yeah.
And it's not like all adults fit into this one category. Like they're all over the place, and what their personalities are, what their motivations are. And same with like the high schoolers. They're age appropriate, but at the same time, they have really varied personalities, varied motivations, that kind of thing. So it's not just like one note, and that's one issue I guess I had with Persona 5 is that everything was kind of like fight the system kind of thing. Like every single one of them was trying to break some kind of social order issue. And so it just kind of became old at some point that like they
Yeah.
all had the same kind of thing to deal with. Like, okay, I get it. I get what you're trying to do here. We're trying to break society's rules.
And
Ugh.
and specifically with that, like they can't necessarily have like older characters like legitimately trying to help them out in like good ways,
No.
because the whole message of that game is like, well, the adults f***ed all this up, so we got to fix it. And like with this, it's like everyone's coming together and being like, okay, something bad's like happening here. We all have to come together and like and work to try and fix this in some sort of way. And
And
it
like you
works
said,
so
even when
well.
it's like really, really shady characters, they come together and like
Hmm.
help in really interesting ways that you wouldn't expect. So,
It's why I kind
yeah,
of think like if you're going to compare this to like a specific Persona game, like I think P2 is like the game to compare it to, because it has that same dynamics between like, you have your high school kids and you have your adults working together in ways that the other Persona games don't have and don't necessarily do particularly well, I think.
also there's an adult character who's like my size, and that was wonderful. She made me so happy because she like starts off on a step stool. Like, yeah, I feel that life. It's wonderful. I
we
want
were
to cosplay her.
Yeah, we were joking that like you could easily cosplay her if your hair was longer.
Yeah, if I like when I grow my hair back out, put on a blue dress, I'll be there. We go, done. Just carry a step stool with me.
We'll get into spoiler stuff here like in a little bit, but
Yeah.
I want to talk about the gameplay for a little bit, just
Hmm.
because it's not your traditional JRPG. It's like more of an action RPG,
Yep.
and like it plays kind of more like the Tales of games.
Hmm.
If the Tales of games were a little bit more free flowing, with their combat essentially, and like you weren't like constrained to like, oh, we're gonna fight in this little tiny area. Instead, you're like fighting all over these dungeons and everything. So it makes it a little bit better. And I just thought the combat was fun in a way that like maybe some of the Tales of games kind of lack in a bit. But
Yeah.
like there's a combo meter. You can like do cool dodges in ways that like it kind of is like reminiscent of like Souls games in a brief aspect. You have aerial moves, you have EX moves, where it gets like kind of weird like fighting game terminology in it. You have like super moves and all that sort of stuff. Like there's a lot of like depth to the combat in ways that action RPGs can kind of lack. Or if
Yeah.
they do try and do it, it can be like complicated in a way that you don't necessarily want. And it was fun. It
And
surprised me like more than I thought it would.
I had a really good time with it. And it does include like some of the traditional strategy of RPGs, because you have to like you're given a list at the beginning, like these are the kinds of enemies you have based on element.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to figure out like, okay, who do I bring with me in order to do this level?
Yeah.
And so I mean it's about thinking smart about who you're going to take in, but then like every single one of the characters has a different play style, whether it's like they're a very physical character, they're a very magic based character. um like they have very, very different play styles, so you have to consider like what works for me, what doesn't work for me. But none of them are also like characters that I hated using. Like there was not one of them that I'm like, I never want to use you ever because you're the worst.
I mean, there were characters I had where I was like, I prefer using this person over this person, but yeah,
Yeah.
like they were all pretty easy and simple to use, and like understandable like how you would use them.
Yeah. I mean, so it was really fun. It had interesting enemy design throughout. I mean, there's obviously going to be like just palette swapped kinds of characters, but
Specifically, I mean, because this was originally a Vita game, so
right. But like overall, the enemy design is really rad.
And even like dungeon design was pretty good. Like there wasn't that much of like reusing of dungeons, unless like it was like, oh, we got to go back to this one for this reason. But for the most part, like yeah, it was like they were all pretty different in like their design and whatnot, and didn't overstay their welcome, which I'm always glad about.
Yeah, I mean they were. I think probably the longest one was like 30 to 45 minutes for me.
And those were like probably like the last two big dungeons, most likely.
Yeah. But otherwise, you could knock them out in like maybe 10 to 15.
Yeah.
A lot of them were around like the 10-minute mark. And the reason we know this is because they grade you on it and you have like a timer that tells you how long it took you to beat it. Which also was a neat thing is like you got points for a combo, you got points for breaking everything in the dungeon, you got points for getting all the treasures, you had points for defeating all the enemies in the dungeon. Like there were goals for each one that it made it fun to do. Like I was always looking for the treasures or the enemies or the boxes or whatever because it's like, oh, I want to get all the points.
And even then, like it played into like strategy of being like, okay, so I'm at this fork in the road, and I know if I look that way, there's a treasure chest, and the other way is the main path. And then like there's enemies and boxes in this row. Okay, I need to defeat that enemy, go get that treasure chest, come back, get that box, and then continue my way so my combo stays active.
Yep.
It was real like interesting. Like you're not necessarily going to have that sort of like weird strategy and like having to think about that constantly in like other action RPGs.
Like one of the things that I tended to do was I would get a character who wasn't nearly as powerful, and like if there were two boxes next to each other, I'd break one.
Yeah.
And then like go and do my thing and then come back and break the other one, because if you use some of the other like more powerful characters, they'll do just a big swing and break both.
Right.
So it's kind of an idea of like, okay, so how do I effectively get through this dungeon? It was fun.
Yeah, it was smart and like it was just well done in a way. Like, I mean, I saw like initially just from playing, I was like, the action stuff seems all right, but like the further you get in with the game, it's like it opens up in ways that you really, I don't think you would expect from this game.
And one thing that worked really well and doesn't often work in these kinds of games is there is some instances where like you have to do platforming stuff, like you have to jump from platform to platform. It worked here actually. And it doesn't often translate very well in these kinds of games. But I never really had an issue with like the jumping.
Right. Because it really helps that like they give you a double jump and then you can dash out of that.
Which I found out.
But yeah, like I mean, it basically helps I think as well that it's pretty simple platforming.
Yeah.
It's nothing too major. It's like this isn't a platforming game basically. No. So you're not going to get anything like too crazy like that, but like I mean, add some different elements to it, like, and like even some of the later dungeons as well had some like weird or like some brief instances of like puzzle mechanics to them to kind of like break up the monotony of just like going off and fighting everything. So like I thought that was interesting that like they would add that like late in the game, that considering like the other parts of the game didn't really have that.
It's just crazy because like often with games like this, RPGs, that kind of thing, they try and add in some stuff of like platforming puzzles, that kind of stuff, and it just doesn't work. Like period, it does not work, and you can tell that like it's just kind of tacked on. And here it worked, it was fine, and it never got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm tired of jumping on platforms.
Yeah. Also I want to make mention of like we talked about this earlier, like there's two versions of this game. There's a Vita version and then there's the PS4 version, which is like the enhanced version, complete edition, all that sort of jazz.
Yep.
Basically that PS4 version gives you a new skill for everyone, supposedly. New playable characters, which you basically I think get at the end. There's side stories between the chapters now, which kind of like flesh out the story in a different way, give you a little bit of like opportunity to see other characters doing things, and really adds to like the ending as well. And then there's a new epilogue called the After Story, which takes place I think like a few months after the actual epilogue of the original game ends, and basically kind of plays into those side chapters and tells a little bit of a new story for you to have at the end there.
It's 3 months after.
Yeah. Because it's all Halloween.
Halloween!
Spooky.
Which is great. You get Halloween costumes for everybody.
You do.
It was fun.
That's something we should talk about.
Oh my god.
So this game kind of has like the same mechanic that the Tales of games have, where it's like, oh, you can customize your characters. And the way it does it for this game is that you can change your costume. So you have like, I think the base game kind of like is a little bit more limited, but like it gives you like the school uniforms and like some casual wear and maybe like something else. And then you have 2 accessory slots where you can just like throw anything on there. So if you're like me and you're like, okay, how do I make all these characters look just ridiculous as possible? You can totally do that. Like, oh, I'm going to have the main character wear 3D glasses and then have goggles on top of his head as well.
Which I didn't have that DLC, so I had to go with the normal stuff. But once I got to the Halloween section, it got real weird real quick.
Also, every one of my characters just decided to wear glasses now, so it's the glasses gang.
I mean, a lot of your characters chose to wear a lot of weird stuff. Like, there's one character in particular that you had in, like, battle armor and a witch's hat.
Which turned into battle armor and a giant pumpkin.
Yeah. It was... Man, and I'm telling you, like, there's an emotional scene in the After Story. Yeah. And I had him in the pumpkin head, and I was like, oh my god, why am I doing this with him in a pumpkin head? I should have taken that off of you. I can't take this emotional scene seriously when you have a pumpkin on your head. And I was so confused because, like, I went into the bar to go talk to people because I talked to everybody in this game and I still missed stuff. And it's like, why is there a man? I was like, why is there a man in a pumpkin head here? And then I realized that I had equipped him with a pumpkin head at some point and forgot that he was wandering around town. And I was losing my mind because there's just this pumpkin in the bar.
It's so good. So good.
He's like giving dating advice. And I'm like, oh, honey, no. No. You're running around town in a pumpkin head. You can't give dating advice.
Whoa. It's fantastic.
It was wonderful. It like I had some characters in like the witch hat and cape, and some things are happening, and there's just like the cape is flowing. Like, okay, this is perfect. I'm really bummed. I got this scene where the main character dresses in cosplay. And I was bummed that I could never buy that. And then I saw that they have like the character model and the character model viewing thing.
What cosplay was it? Was it the...
It was the demon prince, the fisherman guy.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So from the magical girl thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the demon prince. He was in that outfit.
How did you get that? There
was a scene with Minty Pal.
Oh.
Where he takes you to the cosplay store in the mall, and he's like, you know what we're gonna dress you up in cosplay. So he dresses you up as the demon prince, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna be the magical girl, and like they take pictures together.
Wow. I did not get that.
I wanted to buy that outfit so bad. I was like, I need Protag to be in cosplay for the rest of this time. I need it, and they wouldn't let me.
It should have let you have both of those costumes.
Oh, well, they didn't show Minty Pal in his.
Oh.
But they showed Protag in his, and I was like, oh, I want that so bad. And so
they should have let you have that, and also let you have the town. No, well, probably that too, but also the town mascot costume.
Yeah, they should have.
Just go completely weird with it. I mean, they kind of already do, but like just go full bore.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, like I said, when I saw that in the character model thing, I was like, God, I want this outfit so bad. I'll have to send you a picture.
God. I was missing like an information thing on that character, so that's probably what it was.
Yeah, he takes you to the mall and you cosplay together and take pictures. Uh-huh. It's beautiful. I also love that he's like, you know what? I'm going to be the magical girl.
I mean, who doesn't want to be a magical girl?
I mean, terrible humans don't want to be magical girls.
God, it's so like goofy though. Like there's just like there's that like aspect of it, like, oh, these people just talk about this show a lot, and it's just popular throughout like the entirety of the game.
Yeah, everybody loves the magical girl show. Everybody. It's
Yep.
amazing. And like, this is how real life should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's weird mini games in this as well that like totally was not expecting.
I spent so much time fishing.
I never fished.
Because I ended up with like 8,000 medals fishing.
Why?
Because I'm me.
Okay, fair.
And then I ended up spending more of those medals to do the card game. And I did the card game and I won. I got to level 12 on that. And so I ended up with even more medals. So I have like a disgusting amount of medals that I'll never use.
I saw the card game once and I was like, nope, not doing a card game. Nope, can't make me. I never went to the fishing one just because like I just forgot about it and never went to it. So the game I always played was the magical girl like whack-a-mole game.
The whack-a-mole.
Because it was easy. It's like, here's a cheap way to get medals.
I love the fishing one. I spent hours fishing. And you play as the Demon Prince.
Yeah, that's true.
It was wonderful. Demon Prince fishing.
There was also like at one point you help out with like the cheer club, and and they're like, oh, we're gonna do swimming today, and I was like, oh, that's funny, we're gonna have a swimming scene, and it's like, oh no, you're gonna swim. There's a timing mini game for this. And I was like,
yep.
What?
Yeah, there's a scene where you get the key to the pool and your entire group does the swimming too, and that was, it was amazing. And there's the crane game, which
the crane game is tough.
I will have you know that every single time that I played the crane game, the first option I picked every single time was grab him by the butt.
Because of course.
Yeah, every single time.
Grab him by the butt.
Grab him by the butt.
I mean, you can also be a skater boy.
You can be a skater boy.
Which is so ridiculous.
It was hilarious. It's like, there's a skate park. Okay, sure.
And it's like, oh, you want to rent a skateboard? And you go on the track. And I was like, okay, sure. And it's like, bloop. Check out beginner course A. And I was like, what?
And I did every single one of them.
Yep, same.
There are all kinds of. There's like the capsule ones that sucked. They weren't really a mini game, but they sucked really bad.
Because it was just RNG.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what other mini games there were.
Decorate your room.
That was fun. I got a Roomba.
Yeah. It was fun though, because like you would just get these random miscellaneous items and just put them in your room, and like they would just trigger like, oh, here come my friends to hang out, and we're gonna talk about these items, and it's like, sure.
Well, the funniest thing is that like half the time the pro tag doesn't care about the object or has no idea what it is, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna put it up anyway.
And every time like they ask him, he's like, I don't know, it just fell in my hands, fell into my lap.
Yep.
So goofy.
I love him. He's so funny. He's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just free poster. Sure, I'll put it up.
Roomba, sure.
These cushions are kind of cute. Why not just put them here?
Telescope? What? Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Magical girl toy? Sure. All right. I don't even watch a show, but here we go. But that's also a lie because he reads the manga.
Mega Station 4? Obviously.
The Mega Station 4 was hilarious.
It's so
big. It was so huge. Like, somebody gives you a new mattress. A whole new mattress at one
point. And he's
just
like, I don't know. Sure. I guess. Whatever.
Did you also notice that there is an IKEA knockoff?
I don't think I did, no.
There's a Nikea. And like you see it in the after story in the background. I was like, oh my God, there's literally like it is an IKEA, like the logo is IKEA, it just has an N in front of it.
Did you also see that like above the electronics store in the station square? It's literally their parodies of Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony.
I did not notice that. I'll
Yep,
have to go
that's
look.
there.
Oh my God, that's so funny. It's there's some nice details in this game.
And boy, did they really want to they advertise their other games in this.
Yeah, they do.
Like there's Ease 8 box art in there. There's a lot of Trails of Cold Steel 3 like trailers and like posters just all abound.
Mm-hmm.
Falcom's like, "Hey, we have these other games. You might want to play these as well." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is a great video game.
Oh, I love this video game. Like legitimately, I can't stop thinking about how much I love this game.
It's very good. It's very, very, very good. Oh, well. Should we dive into some story and spoiler talk?
Yeah. We'll just say before we go into spoilers, you should play this game.
Yeah, you absolutely should. If you like Persona, you like JRPGs of some sort, or like social elements to games, or action RPGs, like honestly, this is a no-brainer. Like you should absolutely pick this up.
There's one thing we should talk about before we talk about spoilers.
Okay.
Actually, a couple things.
Okay.
One, there's no real gross sexualization at all.
Yes.
Like there's so many opportunities that they could have done stuff like panty shots or like weird lingering stuff.
Which I think they almost kind of do at one point when Asuka is fighting a mech.
Yeah.
Like it's just, but it's not like super noticeable if it's even there. So,
I didn't notice it.
So yeah, like so it's. I think it's just like the camera's kind of like she's doing flips and stuff, and just like it's kind of unavoidable.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't. It's not like it's like bam right in your face. It's like if it's there, it's very very subtle, and not like super noticeable. Like, and that's the only time that like it's even questionable.
And there's like a hot spring episode in this,
mm-hmm.
and there's a point where like one of the characters, and of course it's not Yosuke.
Yep.
He's like, oh man, we should go peep, and like Protai is like, no, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy this. And then later on, like he's talking again about how he wants to go peep, and Minty Pal is like, just stop. And I love it.
There was also a point where I think like he's talking to not Rise, because there's an idol in this game, and like mm-hmm. she's a part of this idol group, and she was like joking like, hey, wouldn't you have wanted it to be like cross bath or whatever they call it? And he's just like, nah, I don't care.
He's like, it didn't even come to my mind.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like I was so impressed.
Like they don't really like, they don't peeve over the girls or anything. Mm-mm. They don't do any of that sort of stuff. Like we said, like there's no like weird sexualization, no, not really, not even like sexualized costumes or of any sort. Even though like there's a lot of skirts in the game, but like they don't like, you're not like getting them flashed up or anything. Like even in like, if you're in like the menu, you can like kind of like move the character around. You totally cannot upskirt.
You cannot upskirt
because it's like as soon as you get to like profile, where it's like they're just standing straight up. It's like, nope, you're not going further.
Yep.
Which is great.
It is. It's wonderful, and I was really really pleased with that. And so that was exciting. There are two other things we should mention before we go into spoilers. One, they do run into a little bit of an issue that Persona has with the one character who's like very blatantly gay.
Mm-hmm.
It does get a little bit questionable at times. That he's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know the word I'm looking for, but basically he's one of those guys who's like hitting on any dude.
He's very flamboyant.
And he is. And, you know, it comes across as like all these guys are a little like put off by this dude hitting on him. So it is a little bit weird, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
He reminded me at times of the character from Bong Soon.
Yes, he did remind me of the character from Bong Soon. Because he's also like mentioned several times to be like one of the best
Tailors.
yes, in the entire city, that people are like really impressed by the clothes that he makes, that he's really good at putting together outfits, that he like Minty Pal goes in at one point and he's like, I'm looking for a new look. The guy's like, oh, I got you.
Yeah.
I can help you out. And so like he has more to him than just being gay. Predatory, that's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
He does have some of the, especially with the protag, especially since the protag's like 16 or 17 years old.
And there's a bit later on where like he's like that with another character, but
he's at least an adult.
Yeah, and it almost seems like more is just like that other character is like has such a facade of trying to be super masculine that is like clashing with that.
Yeah. So that's one issue. I wouldn't say it's a major issue, but it's an issue.
Yeah, that's fair.
As a positive, it's really, really, really creative and fun that every single chapter they keep bringing back the intro video.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. I love it.
I love it. I get so hyped every time they showed it. And like the song is fantastic. It is so fantastic. And the animation of it is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome because as you play through it, you're like, oh, I get what this means now. I get what this means now. And like every single chapter you get it, you're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Let's go. And it plays out like an anime.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
They do the anime thing of at the final boss fight of the epilogue. Yeah. They play the opening, and I was like, because like when I was playing through and I got to like the final chapter and they didn't do that, I was like, that's kind of a bummer, because I would figure at least like if they're gonna go full bore with like, you know, doing the whole opening for each chapter thing, like it would seem likely that they would do that at some point. So like when I got through the final chapter and it didn't do that, I was kind of bummed. But then like the epilogue did that, and I was like, fantastic.
They saved it for when it mattered.
Yeah. And it totally worked there. Like, it was so good.
Oh, it was perfect. But that song is awesome. The animation's great. And I think that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I really loved it. Like, the idea that games kind of, like, will do that or, like, try and be, like, episodic in a way that makes it seem like that, I'm totally on board for. Like, I can't think of many games that kind of, like, do that, per se. Like, I think the only one off the top of my head that like is kind of similar was like Asuka's Wrath, excuse me, where it was episodic in a way, and it had like even had like episode bumpers in between certain points. But yeah, like not a lot of games are like going out and like kind of like, hey, we know this is anime, so like why not kind of just like go with it? Like we know, you know, like let's just do this.
So before we get into spoilers, I will just say great music, really respectful of all the characters, especially the fact that these are teenage characters. Mm-hmm. Story's great, gameplay's great, the writing is fantastic. Apparently Fuckle Ducks is a word. And it just feels like a really interesting and important world. Like it feels like it matters.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't played it, I'd say that you should leave the podcast now and go play it, and then you can listen to the rest of this later. But you should definitely play it. It's like pretty much a 9.8 out of 10.
Specific.
Yes. It's fantastic. You should play it. It would make me very happy.
And hey, if you don't have a PS4 or a Vita, it's on PC as well. So like there's multiple avenues to get it. So
nice.
You have no excuse. Looking at you specifically, no excuse.
But I don't know if the PC version is the same as the PS4, but the PS4
it's the PS4 version.
Okay, yeah.
It's
so the PC and the PS4 X Plus version is the version to really go for.
Well, in that case, let's talk about the story and some spoilers.
Let's do it.
I think given our conversations, the first thing we have to talk about is Minty and Hot Teacher.
Minty and Hot Teacher. So, again, my nicknames. Minty Pal is his name, and Hot Teacher is the other one, because the one character has mint green hair.
Yep.
And I couldn't remember his name for the longest. And then hot teacher, everybody talks about how hot he is all the time. And I mean, he winks at you a lot and gets sparkles. And so, yes, he is hot teacher. It's a free smoke, so that kind of lessens the hot teacher bit a little bit.
So I think we talked about this, but I was not at all on board with hot teacher for like a good majority of the game. I think like, you know, I talked about like, I was like, oh, I don't trust this dude. But looking back on it now, like, and it makes sense with the way his character is, like, I kind of knew that this dude was fake as and he just totally, like, everything, like, about him just did not seem like, there was something else with this dude, because, you know, he tried to be the cool teacher. Oh, I found you to work on your after school job, even though you're not supposed to do that, but hey, it's cool. We'll keep it on the down low. Nothing bad's gonna happen here. And he just seemed like just way too jovial and kind of just like, I don't know, just especially for like this kind of side character that kept popping up every now and then. Like, there was something off about him that I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be. I figured it was going to be like, oh, he's the villain, because I don't know, I guess Persona 5 kind of enculturated me to doing that, especially with characters named Goro too. So
Goro, yeah. Yeah, and you can't tell me you're like, he's gonna be a bad guy. He's gonna be a bad guy. I'm like, no, I trust him. He's fine. I believe in him.
I mean, I did tell you he was a cop, and I was kind of right there.
Kind of.
Because he's like, hey, you kids shouldn't drink alcohol. It's a poison. Like, this dude's a cop.
And until you are a legal adult, in which case we can go drinking.
It's like, what are you doing?
No, because you missed a scene with him that made me really, really respect him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's during the chapter with Blaze.
Yeah.
And so you have like this gang that's hanging out, and the one girl who's always pursuing him, I think her name's Marie.
Yeah.
The blonde girl who's like super obsessed with him.
And her friend who just wants to hang out with cats.
Hitomi, yeah. Hitomi's relatable. So Marie is in that shady part of town because she finds out that's where he lives.
Mm-hmm. And
she gets caught up, and there's two members of Blaze that, you know, are doing the shady stuff of like, hey, you wanna come hang out with us, and like, you know what they're implying.
Yeah.
And so she's freaking out, like she's really, really upset. And essentially what happens is you see hot teacher walk down the alley, and you're like, should I follow him? And I picked yes. And so you follow him, and hot teacher is like, so what's going on here? And, you know, they're like, oh, you know, you don't need to be here. You don't need to be here. And then like they start threatening him, and he like stands up straight, and he pulls out a cigarette and he lights it. And then he gets like this look in his eye, like he's going to straight up murder somebody.
Which, given like what you know about, or what you learn about the character later on, like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And he's like, okay, you want to do this? We'll do this. And like, he's legitimately going to stand up for Marie and save her. And eventually, Protag jumps in and like diffuses the situation a little bit. Mm-hmm. And he asks him, he's like, "So what was that about?" And he explains that he lived in a shady part of town, and so he kind of had to figure out how to defend himself. But I mean, that was really a respectable thing to do, to like help out this girl that is honestly really annoying. And he didn't have to do that.
Right.
So he kind of used his like shadiness to his advantage there.
Yeah.
And after that point, I was like, all right, I'm fully on board with hot teacher. Like, even if there is some stuff off about him, like, he's not a bad person.
See, I never saw that. So like, I never had that context of like knowing he did that or anything like that. So everything I was going off of was what the game was providing me. Mm-hmm. Just through the main story. So yeah, if I'd had that, my opinion might have been like a little bit different. So
because I hung out with him on all of his free time events, mm-hmm. and so I got to know a lot about him. And he's a really, really interesting character.
Yeah.
So I can understand why you didn't trust him. I'll be honest with you, like, I liked him from the get-go because he winked at me.
And not Yosuke was also infatuated by him.
Yeah, I mean, like, when not Yosuke is already infatuated by him, I'm like, all right, you know what? Me too. I get this. So, like, I liked him, and then after the Marie incident, it was like, okay, yeah, he's a good dude. So when they started pursuing him in the game, I was like, he's not what you guys think he is. I know he's not what you guys think he is, because they play it up like, oh, he's gonna be the villain,
or like he's doing something.
Yeah.
Because like they go to like his apartment at one point, and it's like empty. It's like, well, that's a little sketchy.
Mm-hmm. It's got like one picture and then like a map.
Yeah.
And they say that like he's never cooked in there and he has no food in the fridge, even though like he tells the protag every once in a while, like, hey, maybe you should like learn how to cook and things like that.
Yeah. And then like you also see him just like running around with the White Shroud, who like you get introduced to early on through the side chapters.
Yep.
And the way they present that character as well is like, is this like some vigilante character or something super shady or what? Like, you don't really know what that character is or like what his motivations are, other than it can go into the eclipses. It has magical powers as well. Something's up with it. And then and then you see like the two of them start to like work together, and it's like, well, that's it's a little shady. Because at one point like the Shroud like shows up and is like trying to stop you from saving Rion, not Rise.
Not Rise.
Yeah. And like it's like then like, okay, so obviously this guy isn't on the up and up probably.
Yeah.
So this is probably some suspect dude, and if we have to throw down, I'll throw down.
Yeah, I was actually ready to fight him. Like
yeah.
I thought we were gonna have to fight him, but once they did that voice reveal, I was like, oh crap, I hope we don't have to fight him.
I didn't get it at first because like I was trying to, because obviously the way they have June's character is that he's very effeminate looking and has like
June is Minty Pal, by the way.
Yes, Minty Pal. But he's also voiced by a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of like, for that reveal, it kind of throws you off a bit because you're thinking, oh, what female character could this be?
Yeah,
but no, it's Minty Pal.
And that's the thing, is that like you asked me like, who is this, and I mentioned that it's the only guy that's voiced by a woman. You're like, oh, because it's very clearly one of those characters that it
has to be.
It's like a young guy voiced by a woman. It's very clearly one of those kind of situations. But I mean, there are characters throughout the game talking about like how pretty he is, how, you know, they want to dress him up. He gets a scratch on his face at one point, and
all the girls freak out.
They freak out. They're like, oh my god, I hope it doesn't scar. Like, his perfect face is the worst thing. Which, you know, is interesting that he couldn't fight back, because now we know he's like stupidly powerful.
Yeah.
But he's like this like weird churchy guy.
Yeah,
he's a church knight.
Weird. Yeah, it's
he's
super weird.
Like a eclipse paladin, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. Those guys aren't really like necessarily explained all that great, I don't think.
No.
But it's just so weird. Like, oh yeah, this guy's like, I don't know, there's a holy rollers group that they train these knights with magic and shit. And I don't know, they also fight this stuff, so they're here.
I was also terrified. I thought he died.
Oh, when he got shot up?
When he had all the like vines go through him, I legitimately thought he died. And I was so upset because I was like, no, not my Minty Pal, I need him.
And then he's like, oh, I'll just sleep it off, I'm good.
He's like, I'll be alright in 2 days.
And it's not even 2 days. He comes back like the next night. He's like, hey guys, what's up? I'm good to go.
He's like, I have super healing powers. And so it's a thing that these knights have.
I was interested, especially when like that reveal happened. I was like, oh, so is he going to be a villain now? Or what's going to happen with him?
I was worried.
But I was also like glad that like they addressed like the way like that dude was, that at least that character, the Shroud part of it was super sketchy, and have him be like, yeah, I've done some real shady shit, and I'm like, I'm not proud of it, but you know, that's just the way we kind of do things with my group.
Yeah, he's like, you know, those are my orders and that's what I've had to do. And, you know, I appreciated that they did give him that kind
Yeah.
of like gray area, because he was a gray area.
Hmm.
He was not willing to help out with Not Rize at one point, and that's questionable.
Despite knowing
It's
all of the people in the group who were trying to help her.
Yeah, I mean it was well, and again, like helping out Hot Teacher, who I guess we forgot to mention is actually part of the military,
Yeah.
and he's like a secret defense force in the military.
They have mechs. And-
Yeah, they have mechs. So the fact that he was working with him on his like weird plan, I was like, oh, I don't want to have to fight you. I like you, Minty pal.
but it all turns out to like, hey, y'all join forces.
Yeah, and it's nice because he decides like, hey, I'm just gonna chill out in this town for a while. I like it here.
I guess we should back up though before all that. It's like, this is the story in general, because that might be a little bit confusing going without any context.
Yeah.
So you're in this like Japanese town. I think it's called
Moriyama?
Morimiya.
Moriya.
Yes, it's a fictional place. It kind of resembles an actual Japanese city called Tachikawa City, which apparently was where Falcom's offices are located. So it makes sense.
Of
And-
course.
And they basically talk about like, oh, 10 years ago there was this big earthquake in Tokyo, and it was devastating.
I think they said that it killed like 20,000
Yeah.
people, and then a lot more were injured and missing.
Yeah. So that's the kind of like the backdrop of this, and then there's some weird things happening in the town that you're in. Like there's just like these weird gates that are opening up that will suck people in, and they basically have monsters inside them. And like the beginning of the game is basically the main character Ko, leaving his late night job, and he sees his classmate Asuka, kind of getting like or harassed by a couple of Blaze dudes, and he follows them to basically try and like help her out, and then they get sucked into an eclipse, and so does she, and he kind of falls in and like accidentally stumbles upon all of this. And then like once everything's like done, like she tries to erase his memories because she's like an actual agent of a group that tries to like defeat all this stuff, or is trying to combat it in a way. And eventually, of course, like, oh well, he can wield, what are they called, like the soul devices, like that's their
Soul
weapons.
device.
Yeah, like they can like that they can just like summon through their phones and stuff, which is cool.
It is cool.
And that's basically kind of like why the memory erasing didn't work on him. And eventually it's kind of like, oh, they need to work together to try and figure out what's causing all these occurrences to happen in the city. And then along the way, they pick up friends and allies and accumulate the group in a big sort of way. That's basically the gist of the story in a little bit of a nutshell.
Yeah, and it's a lot of figuring out like why are these instances happening so much in this town.
And then how does this connect to what happened 10 years ago? All that sort of stuff. And they do a really good job of like peppering that in throughout the story. It's not just like, oh, okay, folks, here we go. Here's your giant info dump of what happened, and we're going to explain it to you all right now. It's like, no, we're going to kind of give you a little bit here and there. We'll give you this bit, and then maybe a couple of chapters later, we'll give you this bit. And then a little bit chapters later, we'll give you this bit.
And throughout, like, you find out how it affected different characters. And
Right.
that's helpful because you see, like, this person was affected in this way. It was different for how this person was affected.
And there's a lot of like interesting things just with the protagonist as well, because the way he's been kind of operating, at least before he got into this, was like, okay, I'm just going to work all these jobs. And that's how I spend my time. I'm not going to get involved in clubs or anything. I just want to, this is just what I do. And some of the other characters are kind of like, they question his motivations in terms of like, okay, why are you so gung-ho about this? Why do you want to help people along the way? Why do you want to be involved in all of this? And for a good majority of the story, he's just like, I don't know, I just like helping people.
Shrug shoulders.
You don't really get a good explanation until like the very near the very end of the game where it's like, oh, we're gonna lay out exactly why he is the way he is, and boy, this dude is kind of going through some traumatic.
Well, and part of it is that he doesn't remember it.
Yeah,
so he's
that's
kind of
true.
got like this, like, he's kind of on autopilot. And then once he realizes, like, oh, this is why I've been doing this, it's like, oh, no, buddy.
So basically, the game is that where you're going through each chapter. There will be a big eclipse gate that shows up, and most likely it'll involve a prominent main character that will eventually probably join your group, and then that just leads up into the finale, essentially.
So you have Blondie, who's your main operative girl.
Which is, I think it's interesting as well that, like, for the long time of the game, like, she is the defective, like, head honcho of the group. Like, she has the most experience. She knows what she's doing. Like, we're going to leave all decision making up to her. And it's like, you as the protagonist don't really get that agency until, like, much later in the game. And I thought that was such, like, a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, because usually it's just like, for no reason at all, you're the leader.
Yeah, exactly. And it made so much sense that, like, of course she's going to be in charge of, like, what we do because she knows what she's doing. She's been trained in all of this. Like, they're not going to leave this to... I mean, she basically, for, half the story, she's like, I don't need help from these amateurs. Like, I it's cool that you guys can help, but, like, look, I've been trained in all this. I know what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to see you guys get killed along the way just for trying to help out. Like, it's cool, but, you don't need to help. And, like, obviously he's persistent. Like, nah, that's good. I'll help. But, yeah, like, I was super, super happy that, like, it wasn't just de facto immediate, like, oh, hey, you want to lead everything?
Yeah.
Because you're the protagonist.
No.
And it's not even until much later when, like, oh, we have to make a club for official purposes because people are starting to get real suspicious that we're all hanging out together.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, why don't you be the president of the club? And he's like, what? No. Okay, I guess.
Well,
but
part of that is that, like, the one person that would, like, besides her that would be able to be a leader can't actually do the club leadership because she's president.
Yeah, she's the student council president. And even by that point, I think, like, everyone kind of, like, they trust you to a point where, like, yeah, it makes sense that they would appoint him as, like, the president of this. Like, I mean, it's not really like, oh, you're the super leader of everything, but it's just like, hey, you're the president of the club. We trust you. We know you can work with all of us and we'll get something done.
Yeah, and I mean, even then, like, during the clubs, he's still not, like, leading the charge.
Right.
He's there, but he's never the one that's like, all right, we're doing this now.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just a breath of fresh air that, like, they didn't go in that direction of, like, oh, you're the leader. That's it.
You
Blue Chie.
Blue Chie. You get Blue Chie.
So she's like she's someone that you know from, like, your early years. Like, she came to, like, train at your grandpa's dojo, and that's how you know her. And then she kind of gets wrapped up in all this when, like, one of her club mates, like, gets sucked into an eclipse gate and gets real jealous of her and her abilities. And you sort all that out, and she becomes a member of the team.
Which, one thing that I want to mention at this point that I haven't said is that there is a distinct lack of, like, every once in a while they'll joke about it, but there's not a whole bunch of, like, girl infighting over, like, a guy, which is really nice. Usually if there's some kind of conflict, it's, like, jealousy of, like, some, like, with this instance, it's two girls who are jealous of ability as opposed to, like, oh, there's this guy situation. Like, none of the girls in your party are really, like, ever mad at each other for having feelings. Or it was nice. It was really nice. Yeah.
Can I also, like, just piggyback off that and say, like, I was also real relieved that, like, your main group of friends, like the non XRC group of Shiori, Naoyosuke, and Minty Pao, like, I was glad that, like, he had his set of friends like he had before all this happened, and also, like, that group of friends never had, like, this big jealous thing of, like, oh, you're spending more time with those people than us. How dare you? Like, for the most part, they were just like, yeah, he does his own thing sometimes. Like, we're cool with it. And, like, they confront him about it at, like, the hot springs, and, like, he comes, or there's an excuse basically brought up, and there's like, okay, cool, whatevs. We were just kind of worried about you.
They're all really, really cool about it, and like they'll tease him for hanging out with like a girl or whatever. But
yeah, but I mean, that's what friends do.
Yeah, they don't ever like get mad at him or freak out for him hanging out with other people. Like it's if they ever say anything, it's out of concern rather than like jealousy.
Right.
Which I do want to say, it's funny that the one character that I actually call by her name is Shiori.
Yeah.
Because it's like Minty Pal, not Yosuke, Blue Chie, Blondie. Like they all have nicknames except for Shiori. Because she's just Shiori. I first called her like Cutie Pal with a ribbon or something like that.
That's a little long.
It is. And so she just became Shiori.
Next up, you get Yuki, who do we have a nickname for him? Oh yeah, that's 707.
707. So most people who are going to listen to this most likely have not played Mystic Messenger. But Google Yuki from Tokyo Xanadu, and then Google 707 from Mystic Messenger, and put them together. They're literally the same character. Like, personalities, the same. Abilities, the same. Look, the same. They are the same character, one's just a few years younger. So we just called him 707 the entire time. And that... He's literally 707. There's nothing else about that. Like, that's who he is.
I guess for the uninformed, he's like this real smart dude who knows a lot about computers and everything like that. Doesn't go to school, and
kind of trolly.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk. But I mean, he's the first year, so still got to learn all that stuff. Lives alone in his own apartment. Makes a lot of money off the stock market, and then like makes his own app that kind of like that's what basically sets everything in motion for him to join, because it goes all haywire, and then throws his sister, like basically steals his, or like it throws his sister into an eclipse gate, then like it steals her soul. And he's like, uh-oh.
Man, I haven't heard about a character making a lot of money on the stock market before. Looking at you, Santa. Even though I won't be able to look at you again because they just forgot that you existed as a character, apparently.
Take that, Santa Claus.
Not that, Santa! Zero Escape.
I know.
But they never brought him back up. But anyway, that's a different story.
But yeah,
I love how that's like the explanation. Like whenever a character has mysterious money, like, hey, he's good at the stock market.
Yeah. Also, can we at least say that we talked about this a little bit, I think, last night. They mentioned that Ko lives alone. Yes. And like the only mention is like, oh, his parents are away on work for a year.
Yep.
They mentioned like only like a brief handful of times, and they're just like they just leave it. Like they don't go into detail about it. They're basically like, look, guys, we know this is a bullshit idea.
Yeah.
So we're gonna mention it a couple times and just leave it. Like there's no need to pursue this. It's just the reason that the character lives alone. We didn't want to model his parents or like model his house and as a whole. So yeah, that's just how it is.
You get one picture of his mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, he lives by himself. So all you see is the outside of his house and his room.
Which somehow has a car outside.
It does have a car.
Which looks real goofy.
Yeah. But like the only explanations you really get are that Shiori comes and like feeds him and wakes him up and stuff like that. She likes to clean his house.
Because they're neighbors.
And they're neighbors. And then the only other thing that he really says about it is that, my parents travel a lot. Like they've been to America when he's talking to Blondie because she lived in America for a while. And so that's his, like, I relate to you moment.
That's how it works.
Yeah, but otherwise it's, he's like, I've never been, but my parents have.
I just liked how they was like, look, we know this is dumb. We're not going to address it even further. Because why bother?
It doesn't even matter. He lives by himself. That's it.
After that, you get Mitsuki, who is the prez, who you kind of like.
No. You get not kanji first.
Oh, sorry. This is the Wikipedia is not in order. I apologize. You get not kanji, who literally has a chapter devoted to him, and it's basically a chapter out of like a Yakuza game. Let's be real.
so funny. There's like a turf war between like a gang and then another gang and the Yakuza, and like you end up getting these like little characters that are like hearts of gold. But not Kanji is basically,
He's literally Kanji.
yeah, like he's super, super nice, and he's blonde hair, and he does have a long ponytail though. That's different.
He does. He has a rat tail.
He has a motorcycle.
Yep.
Which I got to go on a motorcycle date with him, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he offered me as the pro tag. He's like, pro tag, you want to go on a ride with me on the bike? And I was like, yes, let's do it immediately. Yes, yes, yes.
And then you're like, yeah, maybe we go riding later if we get my license.
You get to put your hands around him and everything. It's like, oh yeah, we're going on this motorcycle date. I love it. He's a great character.
He really is.
It's because part of his story is like trying to live up to his childhood friend who is in an orphanage with. Hello, Persona 3. But they ended up starting this gang because they were mistreated as children by the orphanage and adults in general. And so he was basically saying that this was a place for like outcasts to come and be who they wanted to be. And his friend and the leader of the group ended up dying. And so he just kind of like lets it go, and somebody else brings it back up. And he's like, wait a minute, this is not okay.
This isn't what we were doing. No.
But he is such a good character. And like, he is a rough around the edges because that's how not Kanji is going to be, and that kind of character is going to be.
Like, when you first like meet him, everyone's like, yo, that dude's a delinquent. Don't hang around him.
Originally, like, everybody's shocked when you start hanging out with him. Like, oh! And then, like, everybody starts liking him because they realize that he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's like, he's just cool.
Yeah, he works at, like, the soba shop because they help him out. And, like, you can go to the shopping street and talk to people, and they're like, oh, yeah, he came and helped me stock my store, and he helped do this. And, like, he plays with the children.
Yeah, I got that. Like, that's a moment, like, at the end where, like, you're just talking to, like, the old lady who runs the candy store, and she's like, yeah, he came by and, like, helped play with the children. Like, and he just cuts to him. He's like, don't give me that look.
It's so nice. Like, I love this guy. He's a sweetheart. He's very, very slow in combat, but he's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
He is a powerhouse, but he's slow. One of my favorite characters, though.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
He's amazing.
Then you get Prez, who's Mitsuki,
OTP.
Who you basically you run into every like a little bit here and there, like before this, and she's kind of set up as like this mysterious character who probably knows more than she's letting on. She's a student council president. And
like, she helps you get in access to 707 when you're trying to find out like who made the app.
And then basically you learn that like, oh, she's like the heir to this real powerful corporation. She's also linked to like this other organization that's looking into Eclipse Gates that's different from Asuka's group.
Basically like a rival group.
Yeah. So like they know each other through that, and like there's like, because like they mentioned before, is like, oh, like I know her, but like, you know, we have this agreement. And that's basically kind of like all they talk about. Like,
you can see there's some kind of tension there, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah. So she kind of like comes and becomes a big help because like she has all this like information. She has this whole corporation to her to like, oh, well, you know, if we need to go someplace, I can like call my men in black and they'll lock everything down and spread a story like, oh, this isn't what happens.
Which they literally call them MIB.
Yep.
Because this is the part where Blondie goes missing.
Yeah.
And so she kind of steps in and is like, okay, well, the person that you've been dealing with who actually knows how to deal with this stuff is gone. So I'm going to be the person who steps in to help you deal with this stuff. Because I also know what's happening. Also, her secretary is a badass.
Holy she is.
I knew looking at her, I'm like, she's gonna be awesome. Yeah. But I didn't realize how awesome she was gonna be.
She literally rolls up near the end and pulls out like a sniper rifle and just like one hands it and just like boom.
And she like does like a judo takedown at one point of some guy. I was like,
she's
what?
literally like, she literally front kicks him in the face.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like she's beautiful. I love her.
So good.
But also like prim and proper.
Is this also around the same time when you get the fog event?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
It kind of turns into Persona 4.
It does turn into Persona 4 because it's the fairy tale.
Yeah. Because there's this fairy tale that Shiori finds, and she's like reading it, and it kind of like basically the events of the story end up happening in real life. But like there's this fog that's been permeating the town. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's strange," and they talk about like, "Oh, there's this one town in England that this fog came in and everyone disappeared." And then eventually,
but you find out that Minty Pal is a real big fan of ghost stories.
Yep. And then eventually, you kind of like it leads back to like, oh, the school gets taken over by the main greed, which is like the big monsters that's doing this, and it's all from like Shiori's book. So like you have to go there and save everyone that's in the school, and make sure they're okay, and then basically not make it be a huge castle anymore. And that's also where like the MIB come in, like they spread a false rumor like, oh, it was a gas leak at the school, that's why everyone was freaked out.
Yep.
And they also have to like erase everyone's memories that was like involved, because people, if you're not a wielder, you can't know what's going on for real.
You also find out at this point that Minty Pal was involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a bummer that he like assisted in that coming to be.
Yeah.
But again, he's a great character.
Yeah. At least in like until the very end when he kind of like fully goes on your side.
He's a minty gray.
He's a minty gray.
Sounds like a tea.
Following that, we get some idols.
Not Rize.
Not Rize. She is Rion, who you basically run into a lot prior to her joining.
Her a lot.
Which made me really think, because like she's in the opening and everything. I was like, okay, she's gonna be a prominent character. But by the time like it becomes like her time, like, is she really gonna join?
Yeah, because the opening never shows her with a weapon.
Yes.
So that was shocking, because they show every other character with a weapon but her. You see her a lot, and I think my favorite thing is the introduction where she's like, "Yeah, I'm Rihanna of
Spica. Yeah.
Spica," and he's like, "I have no idea who that is.
Don't know.
I don't know what you are." She's like, "Don't you want my autograph?" He's like, "No." No. And he's like, she like shoves the CD at him and is like, "Listen to the music."
I love their interactions.
Oh, I do too. That's
They're
amazing.
so good, because I think it really helps that like there's no bull between them. They'll call each other out on all of their
Yeah.
And they're just like the most straightforward with each other, and it works so well.
Well, it's really funny because it's kind of a situation where she's used to like everybody fawning over her, and then Protag's like, "I don't even know who you are. Like, you're some pink-haired girl that goes to my school." And like he listens to the CD, he's like, "Yeah, actually, you know, I like it." And then like there's one part where he calls himself a potential fan. And she's like, "What do you mean a potential fan? You're not a real fan?" Like she keeps getting mad at him for like not being a fan of Spica. He's like, "Eh?" And he just like puts the poster up in his room. At one point, he's like, "Yeah.
Guess I'll put this up." And then she's like, "Oh, you got our poster, huh?" He's like, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
It fell into my lap.
It fell into my lap.
So like he kind of grounds her a bit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she could come across as like that kind of character that's like full of herself and she's the idol, and she does do a few things that like were annoying, like her winking and waving at him and saying
that's great. It's great.
Oh, it's so upsetting. Like I felt terrible for him, because that would be like Japanese high school suicide there for him, or homicide, I guess.
I think it really felt to me like that's their relationship, is like, of course she's gonna do that. She's gonna give him and like probably afterwards he's gonna give her well.
Yeah, I mean, they tease each other,
Yeah.
but, like, he was so mad.
They chase after him. It's
He's like,
great.
wink.
It's like, what? He's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, even not Yosuke was mad at him. Like, what have you done that you're not telling me that you know her and she's like winking at you?
At the same time, he works one of their shows, and at one point he mentioned, he's like, I want to tell not Yosuke about this, that I saw them and I worked with them. Like, he's gonna do that just to spite him.
Yeah, because he's not a fan, and he knows that not Yosuke is like dying to get tickets to every one of their shows, and like he's a major fan of theirs, and like one of the dudes who's screaming at the show. So it's amazing that, I mean, that's one thing I like about Protag, is that sometimes he's just like a spiteful little and I relate so much to that.
He's a real person.
Because like I have those moments where I'm like, you know what, I could do this and like tease the hell out of this person because I can. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah,
totally. But they do have those moments where they're like, yeah, we're gonna riff on each other a bit.
But her chapter is definitely one where, yeah, like we said, it made us really think like, oh, is she gonna be a major player in this? Because it's the lead up to like this anniversary concert for Spica, and she's been having like some issues where they kind of mentioned like, oh, there's some weird things happening during her concerts. She's really taking it to heart and thinking like, oh, it's all her fault and all that. And then basically this leads up to her, like, you learn that like, oh, she was involved in the earthquake disaster 10 years ago and basically almost died, and in order to save her life, she got possessed by an angel. And that gave her like
an eclipse angel.
Yeah, an eclipse angel. And that kind of gave her like her abilities as like a singer and everything. But also, that's real bad. So like that kind of goes like haywire. And then like she gets hospitalized the day of the concert. And the rest of the group tries to go off and like figure out a way to stop everything from happening. All the while that like Prez's sort of quote unquote fiance, arranged fiance, has this weird plan to like, oh, I'm gonna gain control of Agreed.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. So like he takes advantage of her and basically thrusts like the whole hospital into a dungeon. And basically this is where I was thinking like, I wonder if she's gonna die here, like if they're just gonna kill her off.
I was afraid that that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, because they had never shown her with a weapon. And because, like, I realize now that the scene with her, like, in the warehouse was her singing.
Yeah.
But without context, it kind of looks like she's freaking out. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense because she is freaking out. She's trying to figure out, like, why her voice is affecting people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was afraid they were going to kill her off. Because they had said at one point, like, if you try and exorcise this angel, that will mean death.
Yeah, I figured that's what that was going to happen. Like, oh, if she loses this, like, she's basically, it will be like she never survived that encounter 10 years ago.
Yeah. But she makes it. She gets neat wings.
She gets wings, and I was like, oh, yeah.
It's so rad. I love her metal wings.
And then she just, like, goes and kicks and tells that dude he's a piece of and to go to her concert.
That was the thing that I loved, is that she tells him, she's like, you don't know the power of an idol, and you will know the power of an idol. I'm like, you go, girl. You get him.
I also like how the characters in the background are like, I can't believe she's shilling herself while doing this.
Yeah, it's so funny. But then he, like, goes to one of her shows, and he's like, all right, yeah, I get it now. And that was awesome. It made me happy. But she's one of my most used characters.
She's very good.
She can build combos like crazy.
Yeah.
Also, she flies, just in general.
Also, she flies.
She's always flying.
She's got wings.
It's adorable. Metal wings.
I believe after that is basically where we get towards the end game. Because that's where you get like the Goro reveal, the Minty friend reveal, all that stuff begins to happen. And then they
You
basically
basically realize like there's another Tokyo earthquake disaster upcoming.
yeah, because like they keep like there's these like hollow quakes that are happening, like that's like a precursor to the thing happening again. So like they gotta go and try and stop that, and the military finds this like I think they call it like a breed,
Yes, the breed.
like the kind of like a tiny spawn of what the thing was before, like 10 years ago. Or at least that's what they think, and they try and destroy that and everything. And
They put it into a mech.
they put it into a mech, which is rad. I wanted to pilot a mech, but they didn't let me. I was real bummed. But basically, they solve all that, and you realize, Hot Teacher and Minty Pao aren't necessarily as bad as you thought. But also, you get near the end of that chapter, you get a call from Shiori, who's been out sick.
Yeah, she's had a cold.
She's had a cold because things have been really freaking out, and everything's kind of leading up to like, oh, there's another disaster going to happen, and like she's like, oh, hey, I'm on the tower. Get the out of the city.
Yeah, she says. She actually doesn't say she's at the tower. You hear the announcement from the Sky Lounge. So he's like, "Why are you there? Aren't you sick?" And then she says, "Get out of the city." And you're like, "What the is happening?" And you're like, "Shiori, what are you doing?"
And then basically the entire like town just like transforms to like similar to what happened 10 years ago, and then like the tower like completely changes and all that stuff. So things get real quick.
Yeah. 3 pillars appear. Everybody gets separated.
I don't think I was necessarily surprised at like with the Shiori thing, because I always felt like there was something with her. I didn't know.
But she was involved in so many of the things.
Yeah, like I didn't know necessarily what, but like I thought that like there was something about her that like was gonna have to play in at some point.
Once I figured out like what was going on with her, though, I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Oh no, that's what they're doing. And then like once I actually got the solution of what they were doing, I was like, oh no, Protag.
This is the thing we thought was going to happen with Not Risei, but here it is. So basically, like we talked about earlier, Protag has some serious trauma issues that he doesn't realize because he basically has forgot about them. The day of the earthquake 10 years ago, Shiori dies. She gets crushed by rubble.
Trying to save him.
Yeah. And basically she like wishes like, oh, make a way that I live so he doesn't go through like the trauma of losing me. And that creates this reality of like Shiori's alive, but really it's a lie because she's alive in the town, but apparently like everywhere else in the world, that like if you looked it up, she's dead.
And so it becomes a conflict with the fact that there's so much technology and everything that if anyone outside the town asks, Shiori is dead. She died 10 years ago, but everybody within the town, she's alive. And so that conflict of information is causing all these eclipse rifts, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow. I was so upset. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. That's where they're going with this. Yeah. Oh no. Like I figured it out earlier than they gave the reveal, and I was like, oh no, I hope that I'm wrong. I really hope that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think I was pretty much the same, but yeah.
But yeah, she basically ended up like taking in the like major greed that caused the Tokyo earthquake in order to live and create the lie, and she was not actually able to leave the town ever.
Yeah. Because if she did, that would cause like all sorts of kind of crazy stuff to happen. Because obviously she's not alive outside the city. But really, like this chapter is when things start going crazy, and it is bonkers in the best ways.
One thing I do want to say is I thought that it was a really good juxtaposition that they had Hot Teacher have his childhood friend who died in the earthquake situation.
Yeah.
Or with the greeds and all. And then they had Protag and Shiori, who, like, that was also his childhood friend. And so, like, Hot Teacher's constantly going through his trauma of, like, what happened with Futaba. And so you're having to figure out, like, how is Protag going to handle that? And they even say, like, he's around the same age as us, like, in the picture.
Yeah.
And, like, one of his side stories is he wears a watch all the time. And his watch gets broken, so you go with him to get it fixed. And the watch face is dented, and he And he's like, oh, I guess you couldn't fix it. That's fine. At least it works. And Protag is like, no, we're not giving up like that. And so he goes and finds like a replacement face for it, with the sports guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they replace it. They get it fixed and everything. And he ends up explaining later that Futaba got them matching watches when they both got into a Tokyo university, so they'd always like have the time together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he was so unwilling to let the watch go, even if it was broken, was because it was like his one thing connecting him to her. And I was like, oh my God. It was basically that gift that I send you all the time of Sailor Moon. Yeah. That was me at that point, because like they set up that parallel really, really well, that they both had like childhood friend lovers essentially, because like he makes it very clear, they make it very clear that the protag is in love with Shiori.
Yeah.
And vice versa, that she loves him as well. So I mean they set that up very, very well, and at least I feel bad that Hot Teacher didn't get a happy ending on this, but at least protag can get his.
Yeah.
Eventually. First time around, no.
I think though as well that like when everything just goes to and like they just show up with like their weapon, because they're able to summon their weapons now, because like the monsters are just like forming in the city.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, what the all right, sure, I guess, cool. And the way that like the entire like just town comes together and is like trying to help each other, and also like just rooting for you, was the best.
It was like chef's kiss. Like you end up having like the guy from the coffee shop come out and fight, and you have like the antique lady fighting with like tarot cards.
That scene was so cool.
It was so cool. But then like the scene outside the tower was even cooler, where everybody was there. Like you had the Yakuza guy with like a rail gun.
He had a Gatling gun. He's like
you had Aki, the Blaze guy who was out of juvie and shaved his head, and he's like, I have a sword now, let's do this. And like literally everybody is there, and they're like, we're gonna fight. And I texted you in all caps because I legitimately yelled when like the charm got thrown, and like it showed that cousin teacher was there, and that grandpa was there, and like not Yosuke was there as well. Like everybody was there, and they're like, all right, we're here, let's do this, let's all fight, this is our town.
So good.
And it's like, yes. And then you got the Musou line.
There's a Musou line.
And like Hot Teacher is driving this minivan. It was a perfect scene.
God, that scene is fantastic. It's
amazing.
My God.
One of my favorite scenes of the entire game was just that entire scenario, because everybody's fighting. It's beautiful. And like you have Blondie on top of this minivan with her like special mode unlocked, and she's like, nope, let's do this. It's awesome. It's so good.
I still say we need like a side story or DLC of like Gramps and like his adventures, because he somehow just knows everyone, and also was like, he's like, yeah, I was involved in the stuff that happened 10 years ago and I fought against it, like just casually. And it's like, what the who are you?
Yeah, I mean, I would play a prequel because the people that they mentioned were involved are Grandpa, you have Prez's grandpa, you have the Yakuza guy, you have the guy for the pawn shop. There was somebody else too, but they're all like friends with him, and they were all involved in the scenario 10 years ago, and you're like, I want to know that story.
And he also knows Rem?
Yes, he knows Rem. And I was like, what? How do you know her?
For context, Rem's the spooky ghost girl who just kind of shows up to people who are wielders, specifically your group. And she's very cryptic.
And she like shows up at one point, and he's like, oh, hey, Rem, what's up? I'm like, Grandpa, what the heck?
Yes, he's like, oh yeah, I know her. It's like, God, who don't you know?
Yeah, and like the Shrine Maiden knows all this stuff somehow.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to know, like, I want to know what love is, but I want to know what happened there. I want to know because, like, he can fight with these charms. It'd be freaking cool.
There's so much cool stuff they could do.
Oh, I love Grandpa. He's a great guy. And he's got, like, dojo powers.
Oh, it's so good. So all that leads up to you going into the dungeon, which is literally they call a Pandora's box.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you fight Shiori, who is basically transformed into Shiori cross the Twilight Apostle.
She had a great name. It was like
the Princess of Doom.
Yeah, something like that. It was amazing.
God, that name,
then, like,
so good.
It was great. She had an outfit that was like a little more revealing than her normal outfit, but it was still really, like, respectful.
Yeah,
I liked it. The funniest part about this, though, is that, like, when you get warped out after fighting her, and Protag has his head in her lap, and he's like, people can't see us like this. They'll talk. People can't see it. And, like, he keeps saying it over and over and over. She's like, just let it happen for a little bit. Just rest.
And then they all come up and, like, not Yosuke's like, what are you doing?
He's like, my head can't be in your lap. He's so upset. Like, that's the thing that he's worried about.
But man, like that scene, those scenes like following that are just so like well acted and like just emotionally driven that, I mean, obviously it's the climax of the story pretty much, but like it's extremely well done.
It hurts.
Yeah. Like the voice actor who did the main protagonist just did an excellent job.
Which I mentioned because you told me there was the Japanese voice actor for Shulk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, apparently he has experience in, like, losing the girlfriend. Spoiler alert for Xenoblade. Not really, though.
Also, just in general, like the voice cast for this game is like really, really like respectable in terms of like who they got.
Yeah, it's a really good lineup. There were a few lines that I was like, oh, that sounds bad, but
I mean, that not every dub's going to be perfect.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, for the most part, people are always like, oh, Japanese dubs are perfect. But there was one line in there specifically that I was like, oh, no. That sounded terrible. But it was a good cast.
Mm-hmm.
But Protag did a fantastic job of nailing, like, the emotional scenes.
Yeah.
So.
Specifically that one, like he knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like the climax of that is like you defeat Shiori and all that, and what happens is like the Shiori is alive lie disappears, and then you just go on living like as if she was never there. Like everyone like of the XRC group, the people who like fight and everything, they know, like they're aware of like what happened, but like all your friends don't remember. Everyone else like around the surrounding that of people you know just don't remember at all.
Like all the pictures that you had with her, like she disappears out of them.
Like Back to the Future away.
Yeah. I think like one of the saddest moments. Did you do the side quest with the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's one part where they're like, oh, we're going to film the second part. And he's like, oh, so you got rid of one character. And they're like, oh, there was never that character.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't exist. And then
later on, there's like they're like, oh, there should be like a connection between like the main character and not Yosuke's character, right?
Mm-hmm. They're like, there's something missing that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't connect those two. We gotta figure that out. And he's like, I will make this right.
Because basically you get the epilogue afterwards, and that's where like that quest is in.
Well, first off, let's talk about like the actual like the regular ending.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So at that point she's gone, the lie's over,
Mm-hmm.
and you end up walking Blondie back to the coffee shop, and they see a girl who has the same hair ribbon,
but not the same age.
Not the same age. She's probably like between 8 and 10, I'd say.
Essentially like the same age as when like the disaster happened 10 years ago, probably.
Yeah, that would, I guess, be like 6 to 7. But she's young, and so they're like, did she? Oh. And then like Protag at that point is like, okay, I'm all right. I will make it.
Mm-hmm.
But then after you get the save file, you can go back into the epilogue and you get like a shard.
Yeah, because like the end of
And
it, the end of the regular ending is like, oh hey, let's hang out.
yeah.
And then basically the true epilogue kind of goes with that. It's like, oh hey, spend an affinity shard to hang out.
And it doesn't show the little girl in the true ending.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, yeah, let's do the shard. And then you find out that there's like a gate near Shiori's house,
Mm-hmm.
but it's locked and you need 5 keys to get to it. And so you can do like a ton of side quests and
Yeah.
more dungeons and all to get these keys.
Essentially, it's like Rem comes back and is like, hey, so I got this trial for you guys if you're interested. You know, it might be something you're very interested in, so why don't you take a look? And then basically that's where you have to go get all the keys, and all the keys allow you into the dungeon and all that stuff, which I thought it was real interesting because like you go through all that and you're like, I was really expecting like, oh, this is going to be another big dungeon. We're going to do a lot of fighting throughout it. And basically you go in and it's like, there's the boss just chilling. He's like, hey guys, what's up? You know, I just woke up recently. And I'm this big giant fox. You know, they called me
Ninetales.
they called me a god at one point. But that was like so long ago. I don't really remember. And I was like, you know, I just woke up. I
have Shiori in a bubble up here.
This girl was here. I was like, man, I could really use a shrine maiden. So like, what if I got her? But then I was kind of clued into like your guys' situation, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just give her to you guys. But maybe, you know, I don't know. I just woke up, so like, what if we just fought? You want to fight? Test your skills against me, and then if you please me, you can have her. If not, you know, well, I got a shrine maiden. That's the juxtaposition for that boss fight. So.
And I basically texted you. It was like, here's the definition of shrugged shoulders.
I was completely on board with it because like it's something you're not expecting in the slightest, but also it's just kind of goofy in a fun, weird way that like it's like, I don't know. Do you want to fight? If you win, I'll give her to you guys. It's cool.
It was so funny that he was just like, yeah, I got her, but I don't really need her. So if you need her, you just got to prove it to me. And so you obviously do prove it to him that you need her. And she pops out of her bubble.
So basically you change fate again to where like she's legitimately alive for like everywhere.
Yeah, and so everybody remembers her again. She comes back to the pictures. She can actually leave the town now, and that's one thing is that they keep talking about like how she reads a lot of books, and she's like, I've been reading all these books and I want to go to these places, and he's like, well, maybe I'll go with you. I'm like, oh yeah.
So basically that's the true ending.
Yes.
Of the original game.
When do I get to talk about my OTP?
I mean, you can talk about them whenever.
Can we talk about them now?
Sure.
Okay, because we'll talk about them again in the after story. Mm-hmm. I am so dedicated to the idea that that not Kanji and Prez are like totally in love. Because you have a side story with them. You find out that they have history. That like her grandfather is the reason why he's in that high school. That she used to like work with Blaze back when like him and the other guy were still running it. And like, I'm not sure if I got the implication right, but it seemed like she had some kind of like situation with the other guy. I don't know if that was like feelings or what it was, but
there was something there. But like basically she came in because like they were having this big dispute with this other gang, and she comes in and is like, hey, I got an idea how you can solve this. It's cool.
It's just like a picture of them like standing over, and she's just got like plans. It's amazing.
And they keep mentioning like everyone's like was super fearful of her.
Yeah. And so you get like this side story where not Kanji is like, you know, there's something about her I don't really understand, and they end up going into a gate with each other, and the pawn shop guy's like, you know, maybe instead of following your brain, you follow like your heart on this. And
he's the number one shipper of those two.
No, that's me. But he can count too. And like that entire thing ends with them like fist bumping each other. And I was like, oh my god, so I love it. I love it. And then like after that scene, they're just together a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so like the ending, they are walking together, like leaving the school, and everyone's like, "Hey, you guys are together?" And she's like, "Oh, student council got out early," and he's like, "I'm just here." And so they're walking together, and then there's a scene later where they're talking, and like they get paired up a few times. And I'm like, I love this. They are amazing together, and she doesn't need that other jerk who's the fiance because he sucks. And like her grandpa already likes him, so I mean,
Do it.
it's perfect. Like there's clearly something between those two.
Yeah.
Very, very clearly. Like they never explicitly stated, and it's definitely not explicitly stated to the extent of like Protag and Shiori, but it's there. And like the entire time, anytime they were together at any point, I was like, Hee!
God, the scene at the in the after story when.
Oh, that sealed it for me.
Yeah, I was like, all right, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Because just for background, there's like a festival in the after story, and they're together, they're hanging out together, and um, she's like, I've never been to a festival like this, and then she explicitly turns to him and looks at him, and she's like, do you mind showing me around? And
Yep.
like people are always talking about in the festival, like you're supposed to take the person that you like and all that. So I was like, oh yeah, OTP, let's go. I was so happy. Like she very blatantly was like, you're taking me, let's do this. And he's like, yeah, okay, this is fine. I loved it.
It was
made me
great.
so happy.
It's great.
The ultimate couple of that game. They'd be such a power couple.
God, they so would.
Oh, I love it.
It's fantastic.
I love it. Anyway, after story.
So yeah, the after story is one of the things they added with the PS4 release, and basically it takes place, I think, like we said, like 3 months after the main game. It's Halloween, literally. So like the entire town's all gussied up for Halloween, and there's this big autumn festival happening, and everyone's real excited about that. So basically, you go off and do like a bunch of random jobs to like help out people here and there, and then once you get to the festival, you realize something's amiss because like everyone gets together and then like, we hear this bell and then see this weird kid the weird kid you had seen before in one of the side stories that you did with Minty and
teacher Minty Pal.
Yeah, which you were talking about, like, oh, like, you know, they did that side story thing, but then they never brought it up in the main game.
Like they never mentioned it again in anything, and like I understand that they were both added to the EX, but I was worried that like it was just going to be dropped, and then when it came back, it was like, oh, thank God, because it seemed like a major plot point that was just left. But it's not. It's back. So
basically, you have to go and like, because after that happens, everyone gets scattered, and then you end up teaming with Minty, and then they allow you to play as not Yosuke.
I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, we're Minty and not Yosuke. This is like,
it's amazing.
I never played as him once I got somebody else, but I was just happy he was there. He's like, I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
And he regained his memories of like what happened like 3 months prior, because everyone else's memories, like the entire town's got erased after what happened. They just
think it's an earthquake.
They just thought it was an earthquake, which, by the way, before everything went bad, like the holoquakes are happening. There's a scene where like Minty and not Yosuke are just like walking through the station square, and the earthquake happens. There's like, oh, this must be like a 2 or a 3, and they're just so nonchalant about it. It's a
they do
earthquake.
Not care.
They're like, oh, that sounds like a 2 or a 3, whatever.
Yeah, they just keep walking.
But yeah, you have to go and everyone gets scattered, so you have to go through a bunch of like the many little eclipse gates to find them while they're all fighting. You can also find some of your pals who got frozen in time, and basically you realize that like, oh, you've been transported to like a parallel version of the town, because like none of the Halloween decorations are up, and like there's no one in the town as well besides you. And then,
well, you get your shopkeepers and a few extra characters. Like Karen is there, and not Yosuke's childhood friend is there.
The cat's there.
The cat's there.
All this leads up to you running down the fox mask boy who's been like toying with you the entire time. Once you get everyone together, and then
Which, like, it was very obvious who that was.
Yeah.
Like, it was
obvious.
so obvious, and I'm like, how are you guys not figuring it out? The only one who figured it out was cousin teacher.
Yeah.
And she was still like hesitant. She wasn't 1,000% sure, but she's like, I know you. And maybe it was because she was older than him, so like she remembered better what he looked like. Yeah. But like, I knew who it was.
Oh,
and then
like same.
The mask broke, and it's like, oh, surprise! Wow.
So the mask breaks, and it's the child version of the protagonist.
It's the last thing Shiori remembered.
And then this is so basically once like when they brought back Shiori, they also brought back the Twilight Spectre thing. Apostle, yeah. So they have to go and fight that thing again, or else it's going to bring another disaster to the entire world. Which, by the way, the subtitle they have for that thing. Let me see if I can find it real.
The after story?
The subtitle they have for like the Twilight Apostle.
Oh.
The Keeper of the Blood.
And I joked to you. I was like, that's what I'd call my body.
So like you get this big fight, final fight where it's like they split the entire group into teams and you fight it that way where you're like you get it down to half health and then it'll just switch to another team, get it down the full bar and then it just drops into the floor and then you have to fight it again and basically you do that until you defeat it.
Yep.
Which I thought it was real interesting that like you defeat it and then it leaves you with the question of like, so why was I born? And it just disappears. I was like, what?
Yeah, and like protecting Charge, I was like, you can't just drop that on us. And like he keeps thinking about it. He's like, why did it say that? Why?
And then not Yosuke of all people is like, dude, just it's chill. We saved everyone. You don't have to worry about anything. We're all good. We're back. It's A-okay.
Let's go to the festival.
Let's go to the festival.
See our OTP hanging out.
Basically, you get to walk around the festival, and then you find Rem in like just casual clothes, who is like, "Hello, fellow teens."
Which, worth mentioning, you do get to pick one character to go hang out with you at the festival. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. I picked Shiori because, of course, I did.
I picked Rion because, of course, I would.
Oh, everybody's like, oh, you're on a date. And it was really nice. And I appreciated it. Like, everybody was so happy that him and Shiori were there together.
The best part about picking Rion was that one of the other Speaker members was like, oh, I see how it is. You're gonna dip out of right before the show and hook up with someone, huh?
Oh.
I just laughed.
Oh,
she's
no.
Like, no, that's not what I'm doing. Gosh.
Oh, it made me really, really happy when I picked Shiori because, like I said, everybody in the entire town's like, oh, you guys are together. This is nice. And, like, they're both so happy to be there together and, like, mention a few times, like, it's so exciting to be at the festival and that they're happy to be. Like, it is very, very clear throughout the game that they have, like, feelings for each other. And they say it blatantly.
Yeah.
It is explicitly stated on both ends that they have feelings for each other. So it made me happy they got their date.
So yeah,
in my story at least. And yours, he cheated.
Oh no.
God.
So Rim kind of calls you and whoever you pick.
I should have taken not kanji. Oh, but then he wouldn't have been on his.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
you would have missed that scene.
Oh yeah, right. You're right.
So she explains kind of like what happened and everything, and it's like, hey, whatevs, it's all good. Don't worry. Be happy.
I got my hat on. It was so weird. Like her in real clothes. I was like, Rim, what? What are you doing? Why are you like that?
And then you go back, and the group's there, and they're like, hey, we gotta go. The concert's about to happen, and then basically the end is just like, here's the concert and everyone just hanging out together, which is cool because like they have the concert and like, you know, the crowd's there and it's like, it's a good like 30 to 40 people probably.
Yeah.
But it's all characters that you know.
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, I understand why these people are there, 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 and it's so cool that like they're able to fill out like that many people, and it be like all these people that you've probably formed connections with.
One of my favorites was that the guy from the sports store and the florist that he was going to propose to her at the concert. I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. Because he was so nervous and he's ready to do it, and then like you go and talk to her, she's like, is this really going to happen? Yeah. Is this what he's going to do it? I was like, oh. And then basically the pro tag's like, oh, he's getting the to do it. Which let me say, they are so obsessed with pro tags throughout the entire story. Like, what was the
gotta get some testicular fortitude.
Fortitude. There you go. But like throughout the entire thing, like, man, you got some balls. You got to do this. There's you need to grow some balls. And I'm like, can we stop talking about pro tags, please? Like, I don't need to think about 16-year-old boy. So let's just avoid that, please. It was a little weird, but also like that's how
they would talk.
That's how teenagers talk.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual. It's just funny that I was like, okay, I get it. Which I use as like a curse word. So
yeah.
Like when I drop something on my toe, I'm like, so I guess it makes sense. Which try and explain that to your students the first time they hear that.
Oh.
So basically, the moral of the story is that I am pro tag, but also I'm cousin teacher.
And this game's great.
The game is fantastic, and also Prez and Not Kanji are totally in love, and it's perfect.
Yes.
Also, this game is like a 9.8 out of 10, and everybody should play it. And the soundtrack's fantastic.
The specificity. It's a 9.8.
9.8 out of 10. It's what I officially give it. I love it. I love this game. I love this game. Soundtrack's awesome.
God, the soundtrack is so good.
All the idol songs are great. All the dungeon songs are great. All the regular songs are great. Like, everything is great. Everything is awesome. I love this game.
It's just nice to like have like a good discussion about a game. I mean, we've had a few of these already this year, but just like where we're just universally just so excited and just happy to have played it and just glad to be able to just chat about it for a good while and just be happy about something.
Yeah, I mean, like, man, my life is so stressful right now.
Yeah. Because,
like, dissertation and people dying and, like, everything kind of sucks trying to find a job. And then, like, games have kind of been, like, lately. And then, like, we play this, and we're both excited about it, and I put, like, 60 hours into it, and I'm like, this is fantastic, and I'm so happy, and I just needed a little bit of happiness, and this gave it to me, like, in full force.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for Tokyo Xanadu.
I think the interesting thing about this is, like, after playing this, I should probably check out the what are they called? The Trails of Cold Steel games, because I've heard for like from a good majority of people, like those are fantastic, like traditional JRPGs and like some of the best of the genre of like the last 5 years. And like,
I'm interested.
Yeah, like this is the team like or like it's like the same developer that makes those games, and like it's like, hey, I should at least check those out at some point. Like there's really no more excuse of like, oh, people say that's good, but I don't know. It's like you should probably do it now.
And I know that we've mentioned it before, and like the comparison's easy to make. And I even posted something, like I reblogged something on Tumblr about it. But like, because Persona 5 disappointed me so much, like I'm glad that this game exists, because I know that like this kind of game can still work.
Yeah.
And I do know that this game is older, but like this is the best version of it, and it's relatively new in terms of like having an English translation.
Right.
So like these kinds of games can still be good, and they can still be really, really fun. And it gives me some hope.
I think even that, like, the most interesting thing is that not or teams that are not Atlas can make these types of games and make them fantastic.
And I mean, obviously, in the case of Persona 5, make it better than what they made.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, this game completely floored me. Like, it is so, so good. And I'm really glad you made me buy it. Well, you didn't make me. You just told me about it and I bought it.
Yeah, it's, like I said at the top of the show, like, I knew about this game for, like, 3 or 4 years, and just finally being able to get my hands on it and just having it be so good is such a relief, and just, like, it makes me real happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you liked it too.
Yay! Jared makes good decisions on gaming, and I follow them.
Sometimes. Well, I think that's...
Long episode.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah, but it was a good episode, and it was a good game, and everybody should play this game all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And go watch the opening, because it's awesome.
It's all good. So yeah, that's going to wrap this episode up. If you want more from us, go to seasonlandcheckup.com or sac.cool for past episodes of this podcast. And you can find other podcasts on there as well, like Jared and I watch Sailor Moon Crystal and the mainline Season Anime Checkup podcast. And you can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. You can find more from Anne Ladyem at anneladyem.com, where she has columns and reviews of her own. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. It's where we tweet some stuff here and there. And you can support this podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA, where you can be like, here's $1, and you get cool stuff like, here's the entire podcast unedited, where you can hear us talk about curse words and hear giant beeps here and there, or pauses.
I'm still unsure about Fuckle Ducks, so if that has to be edited, then you get to hear Fuckle Ducks in its entirety, and that's beautiful.
Or you'll just hear it right now, but you'll hear legitimate cuss words.
I hope that you get to hear it, but yes, you always get to hear legitimate curse words. And also, like, I had to buy a new headset, so.
Your Patreon support goes to Al buying new headsets.
I at least bought an affordable one, guys, but my headset broke.
So yeah, you should go support us. This would be a cool thing to do.
Because you love us, and we love you.
It's true. Next week, something.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Neither do I, but we'll figure something out for next week.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have something.
It's a weird week for you.
It is. Things are complicated, but we'll figure out something.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we've had some ideas that we've been kicking around, and depending on timing, we'll think about it. And if you have any ideas, let us know.
And there is some stuff coming up that we'll definitely be able to get into. So
yeah,
there you go. So tune in to whatever we do next week and enjoy it. Have fun.
Xanadu.